Hey everyone, welcome to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper. The film Liyana follows a Swazi girl who embarks on a dangerous quest to rescue her young twin brothers. This animated African tale is born in the imaginations of 5 orphaned children in Swaziland who collaborate to tell a courageous story drawn from their darkest memories and brightest dreams. Today, I'll be joined by Emmy-winning actress Thandie Newton, who is an executive producer on the film, directors Aaron and Amanda Kopp, and 3 of the film's stars. But first, let's check out the trailer from Liyana.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, they called her Liyana.
We're going to be writing the story of this young girl, and it is our story. We don't know where the story is going. You will decide.
Liyana said, "Mark, please don't leave me."
I remember my mother and my father died.
Kufika nje bamthatha ingadi abathatha nengadi leningi bese kuyasitshela ukuthi ligciwane likhona noma alikho.
Sometimes the story of people's family can end sad. Don't be afraid. Be brave. I want them to remember I'm the storyteller.
Everyone, please welcome Thandie Newton, Aaron Kopp, Amanda Kopp, Zweli, Nomcebo, and Phumlani. How you guys doing this morning?
So excited.
Thanks for getting up bright and early to talk about this film. I got to check it out last night, and it was both beautiful visually and emotionally, which I think is really rare and hard to do. So you guys succeeded in that. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. True, I think, just to their character.
Absolutely.
Beautiful in many ways.
It's amazing how just watching children be children and have them tell stories is so much more engaging, right, than an adult doing it, I think, in so many ways. But Thandie, I'll start with you. You're an executive producer on this project. So how did this story, or how did this whole journey come to you?
Yeah, thank you for all being here. This is so exciting. Well, I met the wonderful filmmaker Charmaine Obey-Chinoy, who's a documentary maker who's won Academy Awards, and Aaron was her cinematographer on the films that have won Academy Awards, Saving Face.
Saving Face, yeah.
And Charmaine said to me a number of years ago, I mean, we're talking 7 years ago maybe, she said, I just think you're going to really connect with these filmmakers and the project that they're working on in Swaziland. And so she introduced us, and it was with a view to me trying to help with the film as it was, making its journey to being completed. And at that point, when I saw it, I think it was in an early cut.
Yeah, it was a rough cut. Yeah.
A rough cut, and I was just completely entranced and fell in love with these amazing children who were telling their story through this character, Liyana. It was such a revelation to see their story being told in this way and animated in this way. And, I put my head down and called a few friends. And
she has a few friends, it turns out.
and we, managed to get the last chunk of finance for the film and completed it. And so really that was my connection. This is the first time we've all met, actually, because long time coming. And my help was really sort of creating a network that would help these guys, and it's an absolute privilege for me to have been able to help in any way. And it turns out it was a fairly important part of getting it together, and I'm just so
crucial.
Yeah, and to be here and have finally meet these incredible men and women, not children
no
anymore.
longer-
not children
They've grown up a little
Well,
bit,
that was
as you
going
can
to be
see.
my next question. In the film, they look, to be maybe about 10 or 11.
Yeah,
and now we have these beautiful adults on our stage. So,
Yes.
Aaron, and Amanda, what has that journey been like? Because you grew up in the region, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in
So
Swaziland.
this is obviously a very personal story for
Yeah.
you, and to be on this long journey, and to now it's finally going to be in theaters and people are going to see it. What does that feel like?
Well, we didn't mean for it to take so long.
That's independently animating funding.
Yeah, it's crafted with love, so it did take us a while. But it is the fulfillment of what we have been dreaming about for the better part of a decade. It just feels like it's just our soul on film. And we've known these guys for a long time. We met Zweli when he was 5, I think. And we've just, since that first meeting, we've just kind of had this in our heart waiting to get out. So to finally feel like we can, with them, bring this to the world is like best thing ever.
Zweli, you're 18.
Yeah.
So have you seen the film?
Yeah, I've seen it.
And when you look back on your younger self, what do you think?
You think that you're handsome?
No, I think it's cool. No?
Yeah.
I like it. No.
You were, I think, one of my favorite storytellers. You got really into it. Does it make you laugh or smile when you think about getting to participate in the film?
I laugh a lot. No?
Yeah? You laugh a lot? And how about you two? You're both 20 now. And so when you look back on the film, Nomcebo, what do you think?
I'm so excited about it. I'm happy that I got the experience of being in a movie. So, yeah.
And how about you?
I'm very happy just because it's not only going to be a benefit to us, because many people are going to benefit from this film. So it's not only us who benefit and some people who need their true life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you said that, because there is a really important message in the movie, and you're seeing a lot of the obstacles that these children have had to endure. So for you two, can you talk about what are the obstacles these children have to face in Swaziland?
The obstacles that children have to face in Swaziland, I mean, you can anything, everything, I mean, these kids are not representative of every kid in Swaziland, certainly, but there are many, many children in Swaziland who struggle. I mean, it's the world's highest AIDS infection rate, and with that comes all kinds of sort of broader social problems, economic problems. I mean, it's a very challenging place in a lot of ways. But I think what's most compelling to us about this story is the kind of vitality and hope and optimism that these kids, having been through what they've been through, just come sort of bursting through all that. And I think that that's the real heart of the story. But the truth is, yeah, I mean, for a lot of kids in Swaziland and all over Africa and all over the world for that matter, they have incredible odds to face. And I think that that's sort of hopefully what Liyana can kind of represent is this sort of vehicle through which we overcome all that,
Yeah,
and I think they really powerful story in that way.
She kind of represents that 200,000, that figure you give in the doc of 200,000 children who are left orphaned or vulnerable. Mm-hmm. She sort of is representative of all of them. And I think she's a superhero, even her wearing her cape.
Yes.
It's not a cape. It's,
ihia.
Yeah, ihia. But I just love the imagery of her. So take me into that, because whatever animator you used is, I mean, phenomenal.
We love him so much.
Yes, Shof Coker, he's Nigerian, based in San Diego, and we found him online after searching actually for years. We finally came across his work and fell in love, and we saw an interview with him on africandigitalart.com where he was expressing how he wanted to present Africa more positively than what's typically seen in the media.
And we would argue more accurately.
Yeah, and so we immediately were like, he is the one. And we flew out to San Diego and showed him the film and convinced him to quit his job.
He had a great job until he started working for us.
He took a huge pay cut and just devoted his life for years to bringing the kid's story to life.
Yeah, he just went into the story. He just dedicated himself entirely. And, every image, there's like 500 or so images shots in the film, and everyone's a painting. I mean, he really, really dove deep. And just sort of immersed himself in the story that they've created, because I think it spoke to him in his childhood and sort of all of the things that he wants to be saying about Africa,
This is more of a question for me. Are they going to sell any of these images. They're just so beautiful and so empowering. And I would like to put some of this up in my home, or it is really moving.
We could probably arrange that.
I mean, if you could hook it up, that would be
For a price.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a comic book in the works. There's all kinds of good stuff in the works. So it's going to be, we imagine like Liyana action figures and all kinds of good stuff. So it's in the works. Stay in touch.
The film really, I think, shines a light on the importance and therapeutic uses of storytelling. And I think you can probably speak to that more than any of us, the power of words and stories to convey emotions and to change lives. Is that something that maybe drew you to this? Because there seems to be those parallels.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, the storyteller that you see in the movie, I had worked with a few years before when I was in South Africa, in Johannesburg, teaching at Oprah Winfrey's Academy for Girls. She was also teaching in the art workshop, so we became friends. So when I saw the documentary, and there she was, I mean, she's an extraordinary person.
She's extraordinary.
She travels all over Africa, encouraging children to tell their stories. And this is such a profoundly effective, movie in that it's literally showing how these guys were able to transfer their own life experience into this character. I love the fact that united, girls and boys, they chose a girl to be the hero of their story. This is something that I'm sure you should comment on, is how seeing Liyana triumph and struggle and win, don't want to give the end away, but how that made you feel, in terms of your hopes and your dreams, because I think that is what storytelling can do, and how important it is not just to be told stories, but to tell our own stories. I mean, how did it make you feel? So I don't mean to take over your job, my goodness.
It was you're actually going into my next question. Zweli, in the in the film, you say it's more difficult to live your life than writing a story, and I think that sort of speaks to what you're saying, is that writing the story can help you find power in your own life and help you to continue on. Did you find that from following Liyana's story?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So talk more about like what it means. What do you think Liyana means? Like especially in Swaziland, right? We just showed it in Swaziland to a bunch of these amazing young people. What do you think Liyana and that the sort of the power of that story represents in Swaziland and to you guys personally? Like why is it important?
I think, because back home, back in Africa, a lot of the girls are the ones that face these kind of problems. Like, they get raped and all that stuff. So having Liyana triumph just gives, like, hope to many girls out there that no matter what they're facing, that's not the end. You can still fight on.
And definitely women have an important role in the community as well. As you can see, they have the grandma looking after them. There sort of seems to be that theme of female empowerment, which I love seeing.
Yeah, they have, these young people have a bunch of really strong, amazing women around them. And I think it's sort of, I think Liyana speaks to that, that they see these powerful women around them working to support them. And I think that's not lost on them, No,
I mean, the fact that they recognize the strength of women, and they want to celebrate the strength of women. I mean, what we're seeing in the world now, I mean, in the United States and elsewhere, that we should be celebrating the power of women, being joyful in the power of women. It benefits everybody, both women and men. And I was just, when I saw the fact that these children together instinctively wanted a woman to triumph, that these boys wanted a woman to triumph, it's so counter to so much of what we're seeing in the world. It's a celebration. A woman's strength is a celebration for everyone. And it helps everyone in the end because of how much a woman has to do in the world. How much we women have to do, right?
God was like, preach it.
Yeah, so it's the most obvious thing when you watch the movie.
And I think that it just comes so naturally to them. It's in Swaziland, it's a political statement. To have a young Swazi woman at the head of a story, that's quite a strong political statement, I think. But they were making a political statement. It was just the perfectly natural thing to do, and it was just cool, and it was fun, and her hair was awesome, and it was the truth, and everyone was cool with it. And I think that's sort of just wonderfully, naturally feminist in the way that it should be.
Humanist.
Yes.
One of the more heartwarming parts for me was the end, without giving anything away. But their happy time in both the story and together in real life was working in the garden together and the family they had formed. And for me, that was the most hopeful moment, in that these kids really can overcome everything because they have each other and they understand. So how important was it for you three to have other kids who could relate to your story and who could support you? Nomcebo?
May I please repeat the question?
Yeah. How important was it for you to have these, these two guys next to you, other children that you could grow up with who knew your story, and that you guys could all be successful together?
It's great because they're like my brothers. So, yeah, it's like one big happy family.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Well, that's family, right?
Right.
No family's perfect.
Right.
Well, now I think it's a good time to go to the audience for a couple of questions. Who do we have first?
Hi, Thandie. I was just curious about you were executively producing this film. I was just wondering how your experiences as an actor has affected your sensibilities as an executive producer, and vice versa.
Goodness. I think being an actor has led me to want a voice very, very strongly. Because I have been at the center of productions, countless productions, and have seen deficits and have seen important subjects not amplified, important people and their stories not amplified. So it's given me this yearning to be on the other side. And I feel like I'm trained in so many different disciplines now, having been watchful since the age of 16. And the fact that I was giving a TED talk and that's when I met Charmaine Obeid-Chenoy, who was also giving a TED talk, and us women were talking, and it led to us meeting. It was a very natural process, and I think I'm very well equipped, and I'm just very well equipped to be doing this, and I'm so privileged that this was the first film that I have exec produced, and I'm just keen to continue that. So yeah, I think the transition is an easy one, and I'm pretty excited about what I can give to it, to be honest.
We're excited about that as well.
And another question?
Thank you for the question.
Hi, so I was wondering, what were some of the challenges that you faced sort of balancing out documentary footage and animation and structurally?
Good. That's a good question. So that going into the film, that was kind of one of our biggest concerns, was how we could unite these two worlds of documentary footage and fiction. And I think a lot of the credit goes to our animator, Shofela Koker. He paid so much attention to the documentary footage, which of course was shot first, right? So there's all kinds of little details in the animation that speak to the documentary footage, the sort of rhyming of colors and compositions and movement and everything from the pattern fabric of the animated characters are wearing, and all these little details that he really dedicated himself to, so that they are just of the same sort of ilk, they're sort of the same heart.
We found that sound design also did a lot to unite the two worlds. You play the film without sound, and it's just a different experience. Things just come together with the music. And
yeah, we worked with a really amazing South African composer named Philip Miller, and we actually went back to Swaziland and recorded with a bunch of elderly traditional musicians, and actually kids from the farm are singing in the film, and all of those sounds kind of weave together that tapestry. So it's very much a piece of fabric, and all the sort of strings have to be woven together just right. But it took us a while, to be honest. It took us a long time to get it figured out. But
before we get out of here, I want to check in with you guys. I want to know what you're up to. You guys are adults now. You did this film so long ago. Phumlani, I'll start with you. Just what are you most looking forward to?
Finishing school, then going to university abroad, not within Swaziland. Maybe to be a professor in agriculture and stuff like that. Yeah.
How about you?
I'm currently at the Eswatini Medical Christian University studying social work. So maybe one day I'll be helping other kids like me.
Not maybe, definitely.
Definitely.
Both of you, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And how about you, Zweli?
Me too. I want to finish school because it's been a long journey now, and maybe I want to like join some kind of industry where I can just get busy. Yeah.
Mostly just finish high school, I think, is his main concern.
Which is a good goal, Well, I want to thank all three of you for sharing your stories with us. I really did enjoy watching you in the film, and I think that you're going to touch a lot of people, and I want to thank the three of you for helping to bring their stories to people. Everyone, please give it up for this amazing panel.
Thank you.
Thank you.